Asterisk Aquarius, can you feel it? That sudden shift in the air around your heart. High sparkling, something has changed. Someone from your past, they're realizing the truth too late. And yet right now, the universe is quietly opening a door, a new romance, or the echo of karma revisiting. Broken door, take a deep breath, notice that pull inside you, that longing for clarity, for honesty, for real connection. It's not just curiosity, it's your soul waking up, saying it's time to reclaim your power. And if you've ever felt the sting of someone's absence or the shadow of what could have been, listen closely. Because what's about to unfold could change everything for your heart, for your choices, for the love you've been waiting for. I want you to pause for a moment and just feel it. And maybe leave a comment below if this is speaking straight to your soul, because what comes next, Aquarius, is not like anything you've seen before. Asterisk, you might notice it, Aquarius, that quiet moment when the weight of what was begins to lift, as if the universe itself exhales through your chest. There's a strange kind of relief in letting go, a feeling you haven't allowed yourself to touch in a long time. It's not sudden, not dramatic. It's subtle, like sunlight spilling through the cracks of a window at just the right angle, warming something that you thought had grown cold. You realize the story you've been holding onto, the one filled with missteps, misunderstandings, and unspoken words, was never really yours to carry alone. And in that realization, there's power. Not the loud, obvious kind, but the deep, unshakable authority that comes from knowing that your heart does not belong to anyone but you. Can you feel it, Aquarius? The pulse of your own self-respect, steady and unwavering, reminding you that your choices matter more than anyone else's regrets. You've been through the confusion, the sleepless nights of wondering if you were enough, if love could ever be true. And now you see that the surrender you once feared is the very thing that makes you whole again. It's fascinating, isn't it, how freedom can arrive in the guise of emptiness? A quiet apartment, a half-empty coffee cup, the sound of your own breathing. Suddenly these moments are golden, because they are yours. No one is rewriting your story. No one is standing between you and the love that the stars themselves are aligning for. You start to notice subtle shifts, a smile that lingers longer, an invitation you once hesitated to accept, a message that lights up your day not because of what it says, but because it confirms the reality that your energy now attracts honesty, clarity, and intention. And as your mind quiets, you start to see patterns that once eluded you. You remember the times you held on too tightly, tried to orchestrate feelings that were never yours to control. And now, Aquarius, there's grace in letting them go. Not out of spite, not out of anger, but because your soul understands that that cannot flourish under pressure. The people who were meant to teach you, to challenge you, to show you the strength buried deep in your chest, they have done their work. And you are ready to receive the lessons in silence, in reflection, and in your own awakening. Take a moment and ask yourself this: what does it feel like to be in love with your own story first, before anyone else writes a chapter for you? Can you feel the light that grows from your own surrender, like a river finding its way to the ocean? Because Aquarius, in this delicate unfolding, you are not just surviving, you are creating the magnetic field that will draw in the connections worthy of your time, your heart, and your truth. And as you breathe in this newfound space, you may even notice the faintest flutter of excitement, a whisper that says someone is waiting on the horizon to meet you exactly as you are. The question now isn't if love will find you, but what kind of love will rise to meet the power you've uncovered in yourself. Are you ready to feel it? You might sense it, Aquarius, the subtle shift in the energy around someone from your past. It is almost imperceptible at first, like the way the wind brushes across a quiet lake before a storm, hinting at change. They are beginning to feel the weight of choices they once made lightly, and perhaps the silence they left in your heart echoes louder than they ever imagined. There is a reckoning unfolding, not dramatic, not vengeful, but deeply inevitable. Life has a way of teaching lessons in the smallest, most persistent ways. They are meeting their own reflection now, the one they avoided for so long, and it is teaching them humility. It is fascinating, isn't it, how karma does not always appear with a crash or a lightning bolt. Often it is quiet, intimate, a slow unwrapping of truth that leaves them holding only what they themselves have sown. They encounter situations that mirror their past actions, people who challenge them in ways they weren't prepared for, doors that close softly, opportunities that evade them. You see, the universe does not hurry to punish, it simply arranges the scenery, and they walk through it, feeling the discomfort of lessons learned the hard way. And meanwhile, Aquarius, you are somewhere else entirely. Perhaps walking through sunlight that feels warmer because it belongs entirely to you, your laughter untouched by guilt, your mornings undisturbed by regret. Can you feel it? The way your happiness becomes a mirror reflecting what was once hidden, what they failed to notice. It is subtle, almost imperceptible at first, yet it carries power, a power they cannot reach anymore. Your contentment, your radiant self-possession, acts as a gentle reminder that life moves forward, and that you have chosen a path rooted in clarity and self-respect. There may be moments when you sense their gaze, their lingering curiosity. Perhaps they wonder about the choices you make, the freedom you have cultivated, the love you are now ready to receive without compromise. And in those moments, Aquarius, remember this, it is not your responsibility to correct their course. The lessons they are learning about honesty, about respect, about the value of presence are for them alone. And yet, even in their regret, there is a subtle gratitude that emerges quietly, almost like a whisper for having known you, for having glimpsed the light they could not hold. You may find yourself pondering this: how does it feel to witness the echo of their choices while standing in the warmth of your own integrity? Can you sense the liberation that comes from knowing that the universe aligns in your favor, that the karma of others cannot touch your peace unless you invite it in? And as you walk forward, Aquarius, there is a softness to the world you inhabit now, a delicate, cosmic reassurance that every challenge you endured, every heartache you survived, has shaped the contours of the life you are stepping into. You are untethered from their mistakes, yet wiser for the shadow they cast. And somewhere in that space of awareness, you may even smile, quietly, knowing that the lessons of the past have illuminated the path for the love that is truly yours to embrace. You may remember, Aquarius, the spaces they left in your life, the silences that stretched longer than comfort allowed. Those empty echoes weren't just absence, they were subtle invitations to notice yourself, to recognize the quiet spaces where your heart learned to measure its own worth. It was never about the coldness itself, but how it illuminated what mattered most, the unshakable truth of who you are when no one else is watching. Can you feel that now? That strange warmth in realizing that even in their distance, you were never truly lost. The way they wavered, retreating when closeness was offered, pulling away when you reached for certainty it may have hurt. Yes, but Aquarius, there is a strange kind of grace in it. It was a mirror, reflecting the patterns that no longer serve you. Their inconsistency became a quiet teacher, showing you that love need not be a gamble with your own peace. And perhaps in those tender, aching moments, you glimpsed a strength you hadn't noticed before, a resilience that quietly whispered, "You will not bend for someone who cannot meet you fully." There is a rhythm to this realization, and isn't there? A gentle pulse of understanding that flows beneath the surface of frustration. You may have wondered at times why clarity never came from them, why they held back what you deserved. But Aquarius, in truth, it was never about them finding their way, it was about you discovering your own. You learned to read the subtle shifts in energy, to discern between affection and mere attention, between presence and absence. And in that space, your heart became more attuned to its own cadence, more patient with itself, more capable of recognizing when love is genuine. It is curious how absence can sometimes speak louder than presence. Each moment of coldness, each hesitant reply, each unexplained withdrawal became a punctuation in your story, reminding you that boundaries are not walls, they are bridges to self-respect. You began to understand that those who cannot commit fully are not your fault, nor your responsibility. And slowly, with a quiet grace, you started to reclaim the narrative, Aquarius, shaping a world where your value is acknowledged first, before anyone else's approval is sought. And still, a question lingers softly in the cosmic air: how different might love feel when every interaction is welcomed, rather than waited for? How does it feel to move through your days, knowing that the love you give yourself is never conditional, never paused, never withdrawn? There is liberation here, Aquarius, a freedom that hums like starlight through your veins, a promise that your heart, having weathered uncertainty, now beats to its own unwavering rhythm. And in this gentle awareness, you may smile quietly, recognizing that the frost you once felt was a necessary shadow, shaping the contours of warmth you now carry. The past may have been cold, distant, unpredictable, but it was never empty of lessons. And in this sacred clarity, you can step further into a world where love is mirrored, steady, and wholly yours to receive. Aquarius, have you noticed how the air shifts when you finally stop chasing what was never meant to stay? There's a subtle charge, almost imperceptible at first, like a gentle wind brushing across the edge of a calm sea. And in that moment, a quiet authority rises within you, not the loud kind, but the kind that hums through your veins, steady and unshakable. You realize that power isn't taken from others, it's quietly reclaimed from yourself. Each decision, each boundary you honor, becomes a small revolution of the heart. It's astonishing, isn't it, how liberating it feels to no longer bend for someone else's uncertainty? The fear of being alone softens, replaced by a tender curiosity about what life might offer when you stand firmly in your own truth. Love in this space is no longer a negotiation or a gamble. It is a choice, a conscious alignment with your own value and desire. And suddenly, Aquarius, you are no longer waiting, you are being awaited. The universe leans in to acknowledge the person who has finally remembered their own worth. There is a subtle thrill in this shift, like a cosmic flip has taken place. The scales have turned, and the one who once held power over your heart now watches from the sidelines, while you, steady and luminous, move forward. Opportunities you may have feared before now arrive softly, almost like whispers from a future that understands your readiness. And in that soft, glowing light, you see how much strength lies in simply choosing yourself again and again. And yet, it's not just strength, it's a kind of tender wisdom, Aquarius. You recognize that vulnerability is not a weakness, but a bridge to connection. When you approach love from this place, every gesture, every interaction is infused with clarity. You do not need to chase, to beg, to negotiate for attention or care. Instead, you notice the small, meaningful actions, the subtle alignments of heart and intention. And in these moments, the fear of being hurt is replaced by the quiet confidence of knowing that what is truly yours will meet you where you stand. Do you feel it, the electric pause just before possibility blooms? That space between what has been and what is about to arrive. It holds both patience and promise, reminding you that choosing yourself does not close doors, it opens the ones that matter most. And within that luminous pause, you sense the extraordinary, the life that is waiting for someone who knows the value of their own heart. So Aquarius, as you breathe in the quiet strength, consider this: how different would every connection feel if you approached it as your equal, fully awake to your own worth, unafraid to walk away from what diminishes you. The world waits for the version of you that has remembered your own power, a force both gentle and unstoppable. And in that remembrance, every step becomes a love flip, turning what was once uncertainty into clarity, and what was once fear into radiant possibility. Aquarius, can you feel it? That delicate stirring in your chest, like the first notes of a song you didn't know your soul had been waiting to hear. It comes quietly at first, almost like a whisper across the quiet spaces of your heart. And then, slowly, you notice someone stepping into the frame of your life, not to disrupt, not to rush, but to exist alongside you with a kind of patient devotion that feels almost otherworldly. This presence is different, it's steady, attuned, and somehow luminous, as if the universe itself conspired to send someone who sees you clearly, the parts you've always hidden, and loves them without condition. There's a unique thrill in watching someone approach love with sincerity, with reverence for your inner landscape. You realize how rare it is to meet a heart willing to show up in full, without games, without shadows lingering at the edges. They are not here to fix you, nor to chase a version of you that existed in someone else's memory. No, Aquarius, they are here to witness your present, to honor your growth, and to walk beside you with eyes wide open. Can you sense the calm power in that? The freedom to simply be, knowing that being fully seen is no longer a privilege but a shared reality. And as you allow yourself to breathe into this presence, there is a subtle magic unfolding. The world seems richer, colors a little deeper, and laughter lighter. Your heart, once protective and cautious, begins to stretch again, not out of desperation, but from recognition. Recognition that love, when approached with honesty and alignment, can feel like sunlight pouring through a window you didn't know had been closed for so long. And in that sunlight, Aquarius, every choice feels aligned, intentional, and sacred. Perhaps the most beautiful part is how you can now see the contrast, how the past taught you, how those lessons led you here, to someone who doesn't diminish you but reflects your value back with grace. There is a tender warmth in realizing that the timing was always cosmic, that people enter our lives not by accident but as a mirror of readiness. You can feel it in the pauses between words, in the small gestures, in the quiet attentions that speak louder than declarations. This is not just romance. This is a collaboration of hearts, a rhythm that matches your own cadence, as if your soul finally recognized its counterpart. And yet, even in this unfolding, there is a question, soft as a ripple on still water: how different would it feel to love without the fear of repeating old patterns, to allow a heart that honors yours to flourish without hesitation? The answer hums gently beneath your awareness, a promise whispered by the universe that sometimes the right person arrives not to complete you, but to mirror back the fullness you already carry. So take a breath, Aquarius, and notice the light in this new connection. Notice the care, the patience, the authenticity. Let it settle in your chest, not as a claim or possession, but as a gentle reminder. Love can be steady, love can be safe, and love can arrive exactly when it should. In this presence, in this delicate yet unwavering attention, you are reminded that your heart is vast enough to hold both wisdom and wonder, strength and surrender. Aquarius, can you feel the subtle tremor of possibility humming through your chest? It's that quiet moment when the universe pauses just long enough for you to notice every heartbeat, every breath, every shadow and light within yourself. Someone from your past appears again not as a specter, but as a living reminder of choices made, lessons learned, and roads you've traveled alone. They carry with them a hope, maybe even a longing, that things could be different this time. And yet, you sense a fragile tension, like walking along the edge of a glass bridge, between what was and what could be. You hold the reins, Aquarius. This is your sacred power, the power to observe without rushing, to honor your own rhythm before anyone else's desires. Your heart, once tangled in the loops of uncertainty, now beats with clarity. You feel the weight of past hurt, yes, but also the lightness of newfound awareness, the subtle courage that whispers your happiness cannot be borrowed from someone else's redemption or contingent on another's change. It is yours, and yours alone, to protect, to nurture, to cultivate. And then there is the other option, the one glowing softly on the horizon, a presence built on alignment, respect, and mutual understanding. They offer not familiarity, but freshness, not repetition, but harmony. Their energy resonates with the rhythm you've been patiently shaping within yourself. It is a love that does not demand compromise of your soul, a love that mirrors the quiet constellations of your inner world. You sense that stepping toward this new light will require trust, courage, and surrender, but surrender that is chosen freely, not coerced by longing for what once was. There is a gentle tension here, Aquarius, like standing at a crossroads at twilight, where shadows play along the edges of what you've known and stars flicker with the promise of what awaits. You notice how your chest tightens at the memory of past mistakes, and simultaneously, how it opens wider at the thought of what your heart could hold. You wonder softly, almost to yourself, can I embrace what is offered without fear, without comparison, without the echo of old patterns whispering doubt? And in that question, the answer already begins to take shape, not in certainty, but in the awareness of your own sovereignty. And as you lean into this moment, there is a curious serenity, a cosmic reminder that the choice is not just about another person, it is about honoring the self you have become. It is about recognizing that each heartbeat, each pause, each breath is a sacred negotiation between past experience and future possibility. The pulse of your own wisdom now guides you. You can feel it, quietly, insistently. Your decisions are sacred, your love is sovereign, and the path forward will unfold as naturally as the tides, as surely as the constellations overhead. So, Aquarius, as you linger in this luminous threshold, allow yourself to feel the subtle thrill of choice, the power of presence, and the expansive possibility of love that is not borrowed, not owed, but freely and fully your own. What if the heart could choose its rhythm without guilt, without fear, without hesitation? What would it decide? Aquarius, do you feel the pulse of your own heart stirring again, like the gentle hum of cosmic winds brushing through the quiet corners of your soul? It's a peculiar kind of energy, isn't it? One moment, regret whispers softly along the edges of your mind, a reminder of the times you gave too much, trusted too easily, or lingered where you shouldn't have. And the next, a rush of exhilaration dances through your chest, teasing you with the thrill of possibility, the scent of something new and alive waiting just beyond the horizon. Your emotions are not chaotic, they are a constellation of lessons, each star burning with its own story, illuminating the path you've traveled and the path you are about to take. You notice it, don't you? That subtle shift in how you perceive love now. Where once disappointment felt like a weighty anchor, it now becomes a gentle teacher, guiding your gaze inward, reminding you that resilience grows quietly in the spaces between heartbreak and hope. You are learning, Aquarius, that every sting of karma, every sigh of longing, every stolen glance that went unreturned, these were not punishments, but messages. Messages that ask you to rise, to honor your own rhythm, to trust your instincts, and to see clearly what is real and nourishing versus what is merely familiar and fleeting. And in this delicate balancing act of feeling, there is a strange beauty, a mosaic of sorrow and joy interlacing like the night itself. Your heart has begun to expand in unexpected ways, finding grace in moments that once seemed unbearable. You see, the encounter with the past does not need to shackle you, it can illuminate the person you have become. The heartbreak is no longer a cage, it is a doorway wide open, inviting you to step through with courage and curiosity. Can you feel how much lighter your spirit is? Simply because you have witnessed and survived, because you have allowed yourself to feel fully without judgment. You also notice something quiet, almost miraculous. Your fear of love has softened. It lingers like morning mist over a river, gentle, fading, yet reminding you of how far you've come. There is excitement now, a nervous thrill in the way your chest swells at a new possibility, a new connection that feels aligned with the rhythm of your own soul. And while old patterns may flicker in your mind for a moment, they do not dictate your choices. They are simply shadows against the light you now carry. So you pause and reflect, Aquarius, on the tapestry of experiences that brought you here. Karma, heartbreak, newfound love, they are threads woven together in perfect imperfection. And as you consider this, a question drifts gently to the surface. What if the real magic of love lies not in the absence of pain, but in the courage to feel fully, learn deeply, and step forward with a heart unafraid? Every pulse, every lingering memory, every spark of hope is now part of your wisdom. You are more awake, more compassionate, more ready. The universe has been quiet, teaching, guiding, nudging, and now it waits patiently for the next chapter you will write. And in this moment of reflection, you realize that love is no longer something to fear, but a force that mirrors the radiance you've always carried within. You feel it, don't you? That quiet pulse beneath your chest, the rhythm of your own heartbeat reminding you that the story isn't about endings, it's about arrival. The air around you seems lighter now, softer, almost shimmering with possibilities you couldn't see before. You've walked through shadows, navigated the echoes of choices that weren't yours alone, and yet here you are steady, awake, ready. There's a certain peace that only comes from finally letting go, from realizing that the weight you carried was never truly yours to hold. And in that release, the universe leans in a little closer, whispering that love, real, enduring, and luminous, has been waiting for your readiness all along. Notice how your gaze softens, how the walls around your heart feel less like barriers and more like protective frames that once kept the light at bay. You're not naive, not fragile. You're an Aquarius who has seen the patterns, felt the intensity of what doesn't serve, and now chooses differently. The choices you make now are deliberate, infused with self-respect, and guided by the quiet wisdom of experience. Can you feel the shift? That subtle yet undeniable current of change, as if each exhale carries away what you no longer need, and every inhale draws in the love that matches your worth. This is your cosmic moment, the intersection of past lessons and future promise. And in this space, the ghosts of what could have been fade, not with bitterness, but with gentle understanding. Karma has done its work, the echoes of old attachments ripple outward, leaving you undisturbed, serene, ready to receive what aligns with your soul. The world may have seemed chaotic, but now, from this vantage point, patterns emerge. You begin to see who honors you, who mirrors the depth and curiosity that defines you. It's a revelation that feels like sunlight spilling over an ocean at dawn, warm, illuminating, quietly triumphant. Perhaps you wonder, will this new chapter truly be different? Will the connection that calls to you, the one that sparks effortlessly, hold the depth you crave? The answer isn't hidden in others, Aquarius. It's already inside you. In every choice you make from this clarity, in every boundary you honor, in every smile that rises freely because it is yours to give. Here, at this moment, love no longer chases you. It moves toward you with reverence, guided by the gravity of your self-respect and the luminous strength of your heart. So take a breath, feel the universe pausing with you, waiting. And when the next step comes, step into it fully curious, unafraid, knowing that what you attract will reflect the love you've cultivated inside. Can you imagine the light waiting for you just beyond this very instant? The kind of love that feels like a homecoming, a gentle recognition, a quiet celebration of everything you've become. Keep that question close, let it linger. It will guide you, Aquarius, as you open your heart to the story you were always meant to live. Can you feel it, Aquarius? That quiet wonder settling deep within your chest, the kind that whispers softly that you've arrived exactly where you were meant to be. Everything you've walked through, every shadow of what once was, has led you to this moment. And here you are, not chasing, not clinging, but standing in the luminous space of your own strength. The heartbeat of the universe seems to match yours, slow, steady, and warm, as if every star out there is nodding in approval of your courage. You've seen the patterns, felt the lessons, and now you recognize the sacred rhythm of timing. The past, the loves that slipped, the karma that whispered has shaped you, yes, but it doesn't define you. You define yourself. And in this realization, something almost magical begins to unfold. Love no longer has to prove itself. It simply arrives, drawn to the gravity of your authenticity. Can you sense it, the energy of connection flowing toward you, gentle yet unwavering, ready to meet you where you are? Take a moment to feel that warmth, to let it sink into the quiet places in your heart that have been waiting patiently. You are seen. You are worthy. And you are ready. Ready to trust the whispers of your own soul, to follow the guidance that has always been there, subtly steering you toward what nourishes and uplifts. The power you've reclaimed, the boundaries you've honored, are not walls, they are invitations for love that aligns, for partnerships that resonate, for joy that is sustainable, and for the kind of intimacy that feels like home. So here's the invitation, Aquarius. Breathe it in and let it ripple outward. Comment below and share a piece of your journey. Let someone else know they are not alone in waiting, in healing, in discovering the courage to love fully again. Subscribe if you feel this frequency calling to you, because the next wave of cosmic insight is already preparing to meet you just around the bend. And as you step forward, let your heart be a lighthouse, not just for your own happiness, but for those wandering souls who need the reminder that love, patient and true, finds its way. Trust yourself. Trust the timing. And trust that the universe, ever patient, ever wise, has been conspiring in your favor all along. The journey continues, Aquarius, and the next message is coming. Keep your heart open, your mind curious, and your spirit light. There is more healing, more love, and more wonder awaiting just for you.